How Abraham found a wife for Isaac. After a long and happy life, Sarah, Isaac's mother, died at 127 years old. Abraham decided to buy a burial place, a cave, to lay Sarah to rest. It was called the Cave of Machpelah. After Sarah's death, Abraham and Isaac felt lonely. Isaac was now a man, and Abraham thought he was old enough to get married. The parents would usually choose wives for their sons, and Abraham wished to choose a good wife for Isaac. Because he wanted Isaac's children to serve God, he would not choose a woman of Canaan to be Isaac's wife, for they did not worship the true God. So Abraham remembered that his brother Nahor lived at Haran. Perhaps in Haran a good wife for Isaac can be found. So he called his trusted servant Eliezer and asked him to journey back to Haran and try to find a God-fearing wife for Isaac. Eliezer knew that such a journey would require many days' time and would be attended by many dangers along the way. Eliezer took with him 10 camels, several attendant servants, and many valuable presents. For days and days they traveled, crossing valleys, hills, and rivers, and edging alongside the great, lonely desert, until they eventually reached Haran, and then at last their tired camels stopped outside the city and knelt down near a well. It was evening time, and the women of the city were coming to this well to fill their pitchers with water. Eliezer had learned to trust in Abraham's God, and now he lifted up his heart and prayed that God would send out to this well the young woman who would be suitable for Isaac's wife. "Let it come to pass, O Lord," he prayed, "that the young woman of whom I shall ask a drink may offer to draw water for my camels also. By this sign I shall know that she is the one whom you have chosen, for Abraham's sake, to be the wife of Isaac." While Eliezer was praying, a beautiful young woman approached, with an earthen pitcher upon her shoulder. Eliezer waited until she had filled the pitcher with water. Then he asked for a drink. Although he was a stranger, she spoke kindly to him, and said she would draw water for his camels also. Eliezer knew that his prayer had been answered, and he bowed his head and worshipped God. Then Rebekah, this was the young woman's name, told Eliezer that there was plenty of room in her father's house to lodge them all. And she hurried to tell them what had happened at the well. Rebekah's brother Laban brought water to wash their feet, and then set food before them, but Eliezer could not eat. "First, let me tell you why I have come," he said. "I am Abraham's servant, and God has blessed my master greatly, giving him flocks and herds, silver and gold, and many servants, besides camels and donkeys. God also gave to him and Sarah a son in their old age," Eliezer continued, "and now Abraham has given all his great riches to his son. But his son Isaac has no wife, and Abraham will not take a wife for him from the daughters of Canaan, because they do not worship God. He has sent me to you to find a wife for Isaac." Eliezer also told how Rebekah, in answer to his prayer, had offered drink to him and to his thirsty animals. Rebekah's father and brother Laban were willing to let her go back with Eliezer, because they believed that God had sent him. And Rebekah, too, was willing to go. Eliezer was grateful to know of their willingness, and he enjoyed the feast which was prepared for them. That same night, he gave other presents of silver and gold and beautiful clothing to Rebekah and to her mother and brother. The next morning, Eliezer said, "Now let me return to my master." Laban and his mother did not want to let Rebekah leave them so soon. "Can you not stay for a few more days?" they asked. But when Eliezer insisted that he must go at once, they called Rebekah, and she said, "I will go." So they said goodbye and sent her away with her nurse and other attending maids. Soon they arrived at Canaan. Isaac was out in the fields alone, thinking about God, when he saw the camels coming. He hurried to meet them, and Rebekah, seeing him, asked who he was. "This is my master Isaac," Eliezer replied, and Rebekah got off her camel and covered her face with a veil. When Isaac met them, Eliezer told him how God had answered his prayers and had sent Rebekah to him. So Isaac married Rebekah. He loved her and did not grieve any more because of his mother's death. Abraham was happy that Isaac had finally found his wife. The time passed on, and Abraham also died at the age of 175. Ishmael heard of his death and came to help Isaac bury his father. They placed his body in the cave where Sarah had been buried. The end.